whether positively, negative. So now we actually have two types of attitude of these persons working within the organization. Sometimes this attitude they expose internally, what we call internal attitude, or externally, what we call the external attitude. Okay. Hope now the screen is shared. Yeah, I can see
Yes.
the screen. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Thank
I'm
you so
sharing.
much.
I'm helping you to share the screen.
Okay, so now everyone can access it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. So now you will enable me to move the screens so that I go step by step.
I'm saying it is me. It is I who is helping you to share.
Sorry?
It is I who is helping you to share.
Okay. So now you will then be helping me to 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 uh, to move on, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we can proceed. Hello, are we together?
Yes.
Yes, you can hear. Yeah.
Yes. So now we are on that frame that actually depict the structure, attitude, as well as the organizational processes. Okay. So now we have I was saying that within the organization, when talking about organizational structure, is all the activities that can be directly or indirectly done by the organization itself in order to reach its organizational objectives. Okay. So now these activities, they might include rules, regulations, responsibilities, and so on. We also have organizational attitude, whereby it concerns employees or persons working within the organization and how they actually cope with different factors that actually might concern or affect the organization. This might be internal attitude as well as external attitude. Can we go to the next page? The next page of T model. Okay, so hope some people here have understood the story of T model. T model, this was actually the car which was actually invented by Henry Ford. It was in the years 1908. And one of the strategies, he actually brought the revolution in car companies because of his strategies. So this T model or Model T was introduced by this guy Ford, and one of his strategies to actually reach his goals as any business organization, it is profit, of course, it is to increase the volume of sales. So his strategy was to have the car that can be affordable to each and everyone. And secondly, the car that can be very simple to use. You know, people don't like things which are very complicated. So he actually availed something that can be affordable, especially that in our societies, the majority of people have a lot of money. They are actually not that big percentage. People who actually are in middle class, they are the ones who are many. So affordability is very key in the business. Also, like for example, if we take an example of many countries in Africa, whereby the level of education is actually limited somewhere. So having something that can complicate people, this can be a barrier to reach the organizational objective. And thirdly, one of the strategy was something that can last longer. This Model T could last longer and longer. So people liked it. If there is actually some cars that brought the record in the history of motorbikes or vehicles, it is actually this Model T, because they sold out many cars. And this vehicle was one of the first mass production vehicles, allowing Ford to achieve his aim of manufacturing the universal car. He could export. Okay, so the Model T was manufactured in Ford Motors Cars Moving Assembly Line. So this is another strategy that he had to have everything done within his organization. And due to the mass production of this vehicle, moving or being acquired from one country to the other, the company could sell a lot of examples. Somebody speaking? Okay, so it could sell actually a lot of items, and also which was also expensive. Because at that time it was between 206 US dollars to 850, which was a lot in the years and it was a lot. So the motive was created by because it was the one having this strategy, competitive strategy. He wanted to actually outclass himself from other people who could do the same machines of
Yes, we
okay,
can.
so we keep on.
Yes.
Okay, we can proceed. Yes. So we were model car made by Ford. So he was the one himself, since he had this strategy and lot this strategy. And he don't be a photo for during advance of it, and also take the durability before it, and also he could the story said that he could go in hand with it, just to test if first it is easy, simple to operate, and simple in terms of
We can hardly hear you. The voice is not good. Maybe you can go on, keeping refreshing, and see if there is
Hello?
a change. Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, so let me proceed. So we were on the story of this car model and how it came to be successful because of what? Because of its marketing.
The voice is still vibrating, Prof. Your voice is still vibrating. Maybe it's on my side only.
Let's advise to refresh.
Maybe if he locked out and on, it can be better. I'm not sure. CEO?
Yes, Prof.
Can you advise our facilitator to log in and out?
Yes,
or
Prof.
change the position?
Yeah. Yes, Prof. If you log off and then log in, it can change.
Oh, so I log out.
I think you can log off and log in so that you may have change. Yeah.
Time. And this was due to his strategic marketing. He actually made something that customers need. and also something that will enable what? The company itself to reach the organizational objectives, which is an objective for each and every company. Okay. So can we proceed? Can we proceed to micro and macro environment? Yes, CEO.
Yes, I can see.
After the car, okay. Yes. So now, remember, the other day we talked about macro and micro environment factors that might affect each and every business. So now, give yourself a scenario whereby an organizational business entity has the objective to actually achieve or to reach. So there are some factors that might affect either directly or indirectly to their strategies, and you find all the efforts are in vain. Because of what? Because of maybe the factors are beyond their control. So it is also important to know which are these factors that might affect the organization, so that I may know as a businessman or as somebody in the organization, I may know which now the strategy to use. Okay. So we have two kind of factors that affect the business environment. First one is micro. Micro environment refers to elements that affect immediately the business environment. This even affects its performance, it affects decision making, and it's always whereby something happens in the environment and you find the businessman or the organization does not know what to do next. It happens. So now, but when talking about micro, you understand within the business entity. This might be between suppliers, competitors, marketing intermediaries, customers, public, and so on. So this actually affects within. So we also have the elements of macro now. Micro is within, but now macro is something that affects as a whole. So the concept or element of micro and macro, they are actually different. For example, the elements of micro environment are closely associated with the company, and they do not affect all companies, because this particular that per company, this might not even affect other companies working in that area or similar manner, you see. So it's a particular.
Excuse me, Prof.
My environment,
Excuse me, Prof.
one which the farm addresses in its specific arena.
Excuse me, Prof.
Space. It does not concern others. So they are the ones to deal with it. Okay. So now, but when talking about macro environment, this actually the condition that exists in the economy as a whole. Now, something that can hit Rwanda and affect the whole business environment in that particular area. Something that can hit South Africa and affect the business as a whole. So it means what? It means that they affect even the GDP, gross domestic product. They
Sorry,
may
Prof.
affect the inflation.
Hello,
Now,
Prof.
yes,
Please, I may really advise
Yes.
to mask the photo, your photo, so that you may see if there can be change. When you mask your photo and you speak about it may be positive, because it is somehow vibrating.
sorry.
Would you please mask your photo icon, so that you may see change?
My
Because
photo?
yes, because you can see vibration, and we can see that maybe there can be a change. You mask a photo, you continue with a mic.
Oh.
That is to see the alternative.
This micro, I cannot understand very well
I am saying
the problem,
I'm saying
question.
it is not concerning
Yes.
the course content, concerning the connectivity. When the connectivity is low, and when you mask your face, it can change.
Yes.
I advise you to mask your face icon. Yeah. And you continue with mic only, with microphone only.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I remove the photo, the video.
No. You remove the photo, the photo. You mask.
Yes.
You mask the photo, your photo. Okay. You can see now I unmask. Now I mask. You mask your photo.
Okay.
It's a near microphone and security passment, like down in the downside.
Like this one. You
Yes,
mean
now
like
you can
this
continue.
one?
Yes, now you can continue.
Now is okay.
Yes, you can continue.
Okay, let me see. Is now okay?
You can continue, yes.
Okay. Yeah, in fact, I'm very sorry, you know, these things of technology. Yes, unexpectedly. Yeah, so now I'm actually explaining. I can see, I hope you can see the way I have summarized the note, so that we don't spend much time reading, but we explain what we actually have uh, in the summary of what we have shared. So now you can see here we have the framework of micro and macro environment. So remember we talked about the structure, everything that actually the business built in order to achieve the organizational objectives. And now you can see that this includes what? This includes research development within the micro environment. This might include technology. This might include marketing. This might include human resource management and so on. So it means what? It means microeconomic, microenvironment, I'm sorry. This concerns with these factors that affect the business internally, and they have to deal with it. If that particular business is lacking technology, that's their concern. It does not concern other businesses. It does not concern other organizations. If their way of recruiting employees is actually not efficient, this is their concern and they have to deal with it. But coming to macro environment, this affects each and everyone. If it is economic, if the money has lost value, or maybe if something happens that affects the performance of the currency of that particular country, this will affect each and every business that will need the currency. Let me give an example. You know, for countries that rely more on importing or exporting, sometimes they need international currencies, okay? So now, like for example, if the local currency has lost value, it means that those who actually, sorry? Somebody speaking? Okay, let us proceed. I was saying that if there is a loss of local currency and we business people have to import something from outside, we first need to convert our local currency to the international currency, or for example, US dollars. We need more dollars to go and purchase from abroad. So now that our local currency has lost value, each and every business which has to import will be affected because they will actually import at a high rate. I hope this is understandable. Political factors affect each and every.
Excuse me, Prof.
Yes.
Prof, I have a question.
Yes.
How can we how this national currency is really losing the value? How it comes that it loses the value? I don't know how.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, there are so many factors that actually lead to the loss of value of the currency. In the financial market, there are two ways a currency can actually lose value. First, it might lose value depending on the law of demand and supply, especially if that currency is at the international market, in the money market. For example, there is something called the Forex. Forex is foreign exchange. It is the biggest market in the world whereby you find the currencies are traded. It is the platform whereby central banks buy the currencies. It is whereby big institutions can actually trade the money they have. Even individuals they may participate in the foreign exchange, in the financial market. We understand, we might have heard something called New York Stock Market Exchange, Tokyo Stock Market Exchange, Sydney Stock Market Exchange. So now these markets, money markets, are mostly influenced by the law of demand and supply. The more people seeking for dollars, it's like I am selling and I only have 5 pen. I'm selling pen, I have 5 pen. And you need pen, you are 10. So the demand is higher than what I have to supply. So in other case, my pens have value. So when they are few and the demand is higher, it means that the value of my pens is going to go high. Okay?
Okay, thank
so,
you.
Go high against something else. Okay? Because when we are buying dollars, we buy dollars against another currency. So now that dollars are in high demand, they go up against the other currency. It means the other currency will have to go down. That's one way, but in the international market. Now let's go to the money market locally within the country.
Professor, I have another question.
Yes.
When you say New York Exchange, yes. when we say New York Stock Exchange, what does mean?
Yes.
What does it mean?
So in fact, this is.
Can I?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, Prof. Yes. I just wanna say my other view of understanding.
Yes.
Each country has got their own stock exchange.
Yes.
I will give an example. Maybe there is a Rwanda Stock Exchange, South African yes. Stock Exchange. Yes. The stock exchange is group of entities yes. which control external and internal investment.
Yes.
They work together with the Reserve Bank of that particular country.
Yes.
For an example, in South Africa, we have South African Reserve Bank.
Yes.
But when the currency of another country goes down, yes. it is due to the stock exchange.
Yes.
In other words, stock exchange, let's say Rwanda and South Africa, their political situation like now in South Africa is things are not right. The money at the Reserve Bank is still safe. The what do you call the percentage in which the repo rate is called the repo rate. The repo rate is what the Reserve Bank borrows another bank.
Yes.
And the interest rate is what the bank borrows me and you. Now, why the currency differs or changes is because the stocks market at the stock exchange, the national stock exchange, due to what is happening within the country, the investors hold their money because they're not sure of what will happen tomorrow. Now, if that money is attached to certain market, for an example, beer, bread, and everything, obviously the demand, because nobody is financing that, the demand will go high and the supply will be lower, and then the price will go up. I'm just supporting what the professor was saying in terms of demand and supply.
Yes. Thank you so much. You are much right. You are very much right, and thank you so much for that contribution and clearance. It is very clear. And something to add on that is that, in fact, in financial market or in international finance, they are actually divided in 4 parts or 4 markets. There is the Forex I've been talking about, it deals with currencies. And there is the market for stocks, about investing, buying shares in entities. There is also the parts of commodities. Commodities, there is those commodities that have the international price or value, such as gold, such as oil, petrol, such as diamond, and so on. And also, lastly, we have what we call indices. These are parts of big companies that go together to actually increase the value of their shares. Okay, so each and every country has the stock market, but not like, for example, I think even in Rwanda you have I think Kigali Stock Exchange or Kigali Securities Exchange. I'm not sure. I know Nairobi, it is there, Nairobi Securities Exchange. Okay, so now coming to local money market now, how does the money locally loses the value? This might be due to many factors. The first factor, when the country depends more on importation than exportation, this might be one of the reasons why the currency, local currency, might lose the value. Secondly, when we have more money than the production itself, I don't know, recently I have been listening somebody who was saying that in Africa we should actually print our own money locally so that we actually stabilize our economies. Okay, so I didn't go deep to try to understand what they meant, but taking into consideration the fact of printing money, for me, I think it was not understandable very well. Why? Because as long as we have more money in the country than we are able to produce, this cannot actually stabilize the economy within the country. So we actually need to make sure we produce more and we have more to export, to give outside the country, so that we actually have the money, the international currencies in return. Okay, so now these are the factors that actually affect or lead to the loss of the value of the currency. In other words, what we call inflation, the loss of the value of the currency, and also unemployment, which is also a challenge in many countries in Africa, whereby, of course, we study, but we also have our students who are studying, but there are no policies or projects of where these children, where these people graduate each and every one, or each and every year will go. So I think our government and each individual should also think about it. Okay, I don't know if I have answered the question.
Okay, now I have something that I have got. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, CEO. Okay, so if no other question, I was on now macro environment. These are factors that affect the market or the business environment as a whole. This includes GDP. GDP is a gross domestic product. It means that if business environment is affected within the country, this will also affect what? It will affect the return on investment. It will affect the productivity within the country. And each and every business, of course, will be affected. And these are the things most of the time we don't have control on. That's why we need the strategies to cope with them. So now, when we are encountering these factors that might affect our business environment, it is also very relevant to come to ourselves what we are able to do by identifying our strengths and also thinking about our opportunities as well. Okay, so it is very relevant because when you know you are weak in some domain or in some as a unique, how can I say, as a unique something that others don't have. So now, using internal and external data, because we have to collect data to know if there are political factors affecting our business, if there are economic factors, if there are legal factors that are actually affecting their business, our business, we have to collect that data. If there are some internally, we also have to collect those data, okay? So now the technique can guide the businesses toward strategies more likely to be successful and away from those in which they have been or likely be less successful. So now let's, for example, talk about strengths. In fact, strengths describe what an organization excels at. Our strong point, what we can be good at comparing to others, and what separates us from the competition. This might be, maybe we have a strong brand, maybe we have loyal customer base, maybe we have a strong balance sheet when the financial health of the company is positive. This means our also investment portfolio is also good. This might be our strong and unique technology and so on. So this can help you to actually not eliminate the macro factors that are affecting our business, but to cope with them, to still work despite their presence. Also assess our weaknesses. You know, weaknesses are those things that stop us from operating or maybe performing at our optimum level. These are maybe areas where business need to improve to remain competitive. Having a weak brand does not mean we are outclassed in the market. The one can have a weak brand, the other one has a strong brand, but you find because of your strategies, you outclass them. Let me give you an example of two companies I had when I was in Nairobi. I'm not sure about it, but many people talk about it in Kenya. It is the example of Safaricom and Airtel. So it is said that Airtel came before Safaricom. But now Safaricom is the leading telecommunication company in Kenya, while it came later on after many companies of telecommunication. Why? Because of one competitive advantage that met customer satisfaction. It became the reason why now Safaricom is one of the most profitable companies in Eastern Central Africa, despite the brand at that time, which was not strong. Just because they actually introduced M-Pesa that others could not introduce before, despite their weak brand, now Safaricom is leading. I mean, at that time, their weak brand at that time. Now it is leading in the market of telecommunication in Kenya. So it means having the weak brand does not mean you cannot have or think about some marketing strategies that can actually separate, distinguish you from others in the market. Or another example, higher than the average turnover, high levels of debt does not mean that you can actually close your arms and say, I'm done. No, there is always a way as long as one can create some competitive advantages. Now, that was for strengths and weaknesses. Let's think about opportunities, which are just those favorable external factors that could give an opportunity a competitive advantage. You know, some people don't know how to grab opportunities. They even don't know where, if opportunities are there. For example, in the country, they might cut tariffs. I don't know if you know, in East Africa community, those who are part of EAC, members of EAC, we have this protocol within the common market protocol, which says free trade area within partner states of East African community. Some people might say, I'm afraid to import something manufactured from Nairobi, from Uganda to Burundi. As long as you don't know that policy, that protocol, of course you will be afraid to go to Uganda to import something and bring it to Rwanda. But as long as you know that opportunity which is there, anything that is manufactured within the region can be imported or move within the region with zero tax. That's an opportunity for business people who actually operate within the region. You just have to have what they call certificate of origin in your country to prove that that item, that commodity has been manufactured within the region. So when you know that opportunity is there, or other business facilities which might be around, now we can be able to grab opportunities. Now there are threats. Threats are factors that actually have the potential to harm your organization. And don't worry, for this you are not alone. It does not affect you alone. That's why we use the opportunities we have, we use the strengths we have to overcome these threats. And for some businesses, the same threat can be an obstacle for one, while it has become an opportunity for another person. Okay, so it's all about maybe the nature of the business itself. Okay, I don't know if you have question by there. If no question, let's move. Yes, CEO, can you help us to move? Yes, move. These are strengths and weaknesses we're talking about. Move. Move. Yes, this is SWOT analysis. Move. To the last. Move to the last. Yeah, that's one. Okay. So mass marketing strategies. So we have Richard Talbot. He was a business, I think he's still a business historian at Harvard Business School, studied a number of well-known US companies in the automobile, electrical goods, retailing, and soft drinks sectors. From his research, he has formulated some generic guideline concerning effective strategies for establishing successful mass brands. The first one was economies of scale. So this one of the strategies. Remember, the title is marketing strategy. Now, this economies of scale, it concerns the mass production or the increase of production to the point that you can supply more and sell your item at a very low cost. I remember in 2012, during that time, I was having some internship in one of our local banks, and KCB, it is the time KCB from Kenya. It is the time that it was introduced in our country, in Burundi. So now what happened, KCB came with a low interest rate when asking for credit loans, comparing to during that time our local banks. And this actually, it was considered as unfair competition. Imagine each and everyone could register in KCB. And KCB had that ability to do that and still make profit because it's a giant company. So this, the government of Burundi obliged the company itself of KCB to actually charge the same interest rate as other banks in the company. We have another company from Tanzania called Azam. I hope some products of Azam are mostly everywhere in East Africa. Azam is actually a very big company. It's mostly manufactures food manufactured products such as drinks, biscuits, bread, whatever, farines, flours, and so on. It's a very big company. So depending on their volume of production, they are able, in fact, they have the biggest market in Burundi. They are able to actually sell at a very low margin, but also sell many items and continue to produce. I give you an example. I can be comfortable when I have a market of, for example, 5 million, a market of 5 million per day. I can be comfortable to gain $2 per article, but I also gain the whole market within the short period of time. This is what we actually mean by economies of scale. We produce more. We, of course, get low margin per product or commodity, but also the volume of sales is very high. This one of mass marketing strategies. The second strategy, mass marketing strategy, according to Richard, was reinvesting profit. Reinvesting profits, why? Because reinvesting profit enables us to increase the volume of production as well. And as well as one is not able to produce in a big quantity. First of all, economies of scale is very difficult. Secondly, selling a commodity in a market whereby price is one of the competitive advantage, a strength, it can be difficult. I don't know if you have thought something that I always imagine. You can find one article or commodity. If you take it and you try to see the design or the materials they have used, whatever, the effort, time, if you are the one manufacture it with hands, you cannot sell it at that price. Let's take an example of a pen. CEO, how much is a pen in Rwanda, in Kigali? How much is a pen in Kigali?
It's 1,500 US at 1 francs.
Oh, it is 150 Rwandan francs.
Yes.
Okay, that's very cheap because 150 in Burundian francs we times 3. This means 450 Burundian francs. So it is not even 0.5 US dollars. But
yes,
taking into consideration all the materials of a pen, the cover, the ink, whatever, the effort, if you are the one to manufacture it with the hand, and especially when the volume of production is not that high, you cannot sell it at 150 Rwandan francs. It has to be expensive because but because there are some companies which manufactures millions and millions of articles within some minutes, they are able to sell them at low margin and sell out lot of commodities. That's a strategy, in fact. So to reach that, you have to, of course, to have enough investment. That's why, according to Richard, he also suggests a reinvestment of profit, okay? And also creation of vertical system, whereby everything that is needed is actually made, the whole process chain from A to Z is from the company. I give you the same example of Azam. Azam cultivate, Azam do whatever. They get their own raw materials from their production that which need to be transformed into other products that they will actually need in the manufacturing process. And lastly is market dominance, which is actually through being the first company to exploit a high volume and low price strategy. So this now concludes all the strategies that we have been mentioning above. So if no question, I would like to share another screen. If a CEO can allow me to share another screen, whereby we see now the concept of strategy and how to formulate strategies. Okay, I would like to share the screen so that, because I'm sure I did not send this in the WhatsApp group.
Yes, we can share now.
Okay, let me try to share the screen.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I apologize. My apology because I joined late. Yes, maybe you have already talked about what I wanted to ask now.
Okay.
Yeah, my question is this. You are talking about Azam, the example of Azam. They sell cheaper, many things. It's like a strategy in
Yes.
marketing. But
Yes.
I don't know if I want to do a business. If I can choose something which is not common, or goods which are not common, expensive, but I will be alone in the area. If that is also a good strategy of marketing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know if you understand very
get
well.
you very well. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
The question is, if I can take you the example of Azam that we have already talked about.
Yes.
Yes, if I understood very well, you said that they sell cheaper, but lot of things, isn't it?
Yeah, in fact, they have a very high volume of production to the point they can sell at a low price.
A low price and gain
Yes.
too much because they have a lot of goods. Yes. Now I'm asking if now I would like to start a market, a business.
Yes.
Is this also a good strategy? If now I can do the contrary, I start a business in an area where where I would choose the goods which are not common, that other people are not selling, but which are expensive and attract more rich people to my business. Is it also a good strategy?
I don't think it is a good strategy because first of all, it's a new product. So now that it's a new product, you are trying to penetrate it in the market, in the new market that did not know about this product before. So it means what? Since it's new, you start from, I don't know if you remember the business life cycle we actually studied in entrepreneurship, whereby you need to make your product known by customers. So it will require you some other strategies to make sure your product is known in the market. Okay? So in this stage, then you don't expect return because your objective now is not to make money, but to penetrate the product. And when the product now is known, now another issue comes out. What is the purchasing power of your customers? Okay, you know, Chinese, there are some products that they import in Europe, they import in US, but they don't come to Africa. Why? Because they know our purchasing power. Okay, so now that you said that your product is expensive, okay, it might be the product that people need, but can people of that location afford your product? Because remember, pricing technique is another strategy. When a product is of a good quality and also it has a low price, in the beginning we say that in our societies mostly, people who have a lot of money that can afford everything, they are not that big percentage. The big percentage are people who are in the average class. So, of course, depending on your market, the business, if it reaches the customer satisfaction, you know, there are some commodities or products that do not need that high publicity. Why? Because people who look for them, they are people who are actually outstanding in our societies. Cars which are very, very expensive do not need that high, very, very marketing as products that are trying to penetrate so that they actually attract each and every group or target of customers. So it means this will be difficult for you because the product is new. And secondly, it is expensive. While a pricing technique is one of the strategy. Now, it might not also be challenging for you depending on what? Depending on the purchasing power of your customers. So now you have to identify what is the purchasing power of my customers, and also putting in mind that you don't have to skip the business life cycle. Introduce your product, introduce your business, let people know that it is new. So now they come to learn about it. You give them time, which means it might take time so that customers become loyal to your business. I don't know if I have answered correctly.
Okay, yes, it's clear.
Okay, thank you so much. CEO, I have shared the second note in the WhatsApp group. If you can help us sharing the screen, because I see I'm not able.
Yes, I'm going to do so.
Okay. So now we are going to start, not to start, but to continue a new concept of competitive advantage. But before that, we have a strategy concept to deepen within it. When talking about a business strategy, is an outline of actions and decisions that a company plans to take to reach its business goals or objectives. Because remember, we said each and every business has to have what? Objectives. And among those objectives, this might be short-term objectives, profit maximization, or maybe long-term objectives, wealth maximization. So now to reach either profit maximization or wealth maximization, the business has to identify all the strategies which has to be used or applied in order to reach the business entity goals or objectives. Okay, so your marketing strategies would maybe look at price. Is your price high? Can your customers in that particular location afford your price? Sometimes we don't buy a product, not because we are not, we don't, but because we cannot afford. Remember in the story in the beginning of our course today, Model T, that car that had the success in the history of manufacturing car made by Ford. One of his strategy was the pricing technique. The car was affordable, the durability, the car could last longer, and the car was easy to use. That was the strategy of Ford that made his car to be popular, to actually attract the international attention. Mode of distribution. That might be also another strategy. There are some people, for example, in manufacturing company, whereby in the chain of distribution, they actually put their shipment on their charges. So this means what? It means that this one of the strategies, some customers can be just attracted by the fact that they are not going to do what? They are not going to pay for logistics, to pay for transportation. This is for our suppliers. And you find that it becomes a strategy. They are just attracted by that particular idea of free shipment. Okay? So it means that it is very relevant to identify all the strategies that you have to use to reach the organizational objectives. Product itself, you know, the quality of the product, it's actually one of the key strategies to use in business. Recently, I read an article of the owner of Amazon, Jeff Bezos. You know that now he is no longer the CEO of Amazon. So I read the statement that actually motivated me. He said that, in fact, one of his employees was actually motivated about increasing income, the level of income for Amazon. Then Jeff Bezos said, you were not hired to increase the income of Amazon. You are here to satisfy and solve problems of our customers. Then he said in the statement, he said, each and every successful business has to have happy customers. Actually makes customer satisfaction, that business has to be successful. So now this might be, the product itself might be among the strategies that we might use to actually expand our businesses. Packaging is very, very important. There is this expression in English which says, don't judge the book by the cover. But in business, we judge the book by the cover. In business, the first attraction is the outlooking of the product. Before you use the soap, which is inside the packaging, you first see the packaging. Before using that body lotion, some companies put a very beautiful lady, as if when you use the same body lotion, you are going to look like them. That's packaging. Also, that's can be one of the strategies that some businesses use to actually reach to the organizational objectives. Promotion is one of the strategy concepts that businesses use to actually reach either profit maximization or wealth maximization, which motivate actually shareholders. Okay, can we go to the next slide? Yes, the next slide. Now, competitive advantage. This guy you see on the picture, this is a professor at Harvard Business School. He actually defined very well this concept of competitive advantage. Now we have an author called Porter. Porter said the competitive advantage grows fundamentally out of value a firm is able to create for its buyers that exceed the firm's cost of creating its value, between bracket cost or benefit, is what buyers are willing to pay, and superior value stems from offering lower prices than competitors for equivalence benefit or providing unique benefit that more than offsets a high price. This is actually, this professor was actually trying to give a brief understanding of a competitive advantage, and put in mind that competitive advantages allow companies or businesses to produce goods or services better or more cheaply than its competitors. So it means what? It means you have to have something that differentiates you from your competitors. It allows us to productively generate more sales and superior margins compared to our competitors in the market. So for example, your market competitive advantage might be that product, that particular product that you might introduce in the business that others do not have. I gave you the example of Safaricom, which came up with M-Pesa that Airtel did not have that particular time, and that boosted, backed up the performance, the business performance of Safaricom. Now M-Pesa is almost everywhere in East Africa. So these factors, they actually distinguish us from others in the market. It highlights the benefit a customer receives when they do business with you. So when, of course, customers see you have some competitive advantage, they can even become loyal. I give you the same example of Safaricom in Kenya. In fact, Safaricom has even the strong system. And now, you know, with mobile banking, this actually a new revolution in the banking industry, whereby you have your money everywhere where you have your telephone. And now there is even these new partnerships whereby you find banks work with telecommunication operators or providers, whereby a customer having a bank in Equity Bank or in Rwandan Bank can actually transact their money from their bank to their mobile phone, being at home, being traveling countryside, which is good. So now, having that company like Safaricom, having this strong system of mobile money, which is very secure, some companies might even pay their employees using mobile money, which is very fast, which is very affordable in terms of tariffs. That's a competitive advantage. So now another thing, a competitive advantage can also rely on the quality of the product itself. For example, we might be all telecommunication companies having these mobile money services, but you find our technological systems differ to the point that some customers cannot trust my system. Though we have the same service, but as long as we don't have the same strong system, this might be one of the competitive advantages. Okay, can you proceed to the core competencies? Yes, the next page. Okay, now when talking about core competencies, this is all about the ability that a company might have to actually make companies stand out from the crowd, the majority. The same example for Safaricom, because of its strong system. I'm talking about Safaricom because I suppose this may be the company we can all understand, especially from East Africa, West Africa. Okay, so this is the company, because of its strong technological system, can actually make it stand out from the majority operating in the same field. So it is very relevant. Now, according to Richard, these core competencies also concern the Reliance IND. He gave some examples of backward integration. The other time we studied backward integration, forward integration, whereby the company can actually find out or produce the raw materials which will be used during the process. I gave you the example of Azam, whereby they have a field, they cultivate, they do whatever, and they harvest, they use in manufacturing juices, manufacturing different products that they might use. Toyota Motors Japan. Now the Japanese have further promulgated this view developing of 5-0 and 7 West concept. Hope it's not your first time to understand this Toyota 5-0 concept or 7 West. So this actually was, it is linked to Kanban. Kanban, this is a term used in software development. Kanban is like a method or a work methodology that is based on principles of how to distinguish oneself from others. So most of the time, Kanban is actually distantly related to this Toyota 5-0 system. So now this 5-0 system, it means 0 delay. This was some of Toyota 5 system, and it was like a competitive advantage for them. So it is 0 delay. They never delay. Time to customers is very important. 0 stock. They make sure they sell even at a very low price. 0 paper, 0 defect, 0 breakdowns. I think you can see you can actually move to the next page. Yeah, the 5-0 strategy. Now the timing count. 0 customer feedback. Now we go to 5-0. Toyota 5-0. Go, yes, okay. 5-0 strategy. Now the first one is 0 customer feedback time. Continuous customer feedback after sale. What is the appreciation of customers? 0 product improvement time. Ongoing research and development activities to know what our customers are actually thinking about about our product. 0 purchase time, just in time system. Reduced inventory, low cost. They make sure they sell. 0 setup time, flexibility design of tools, robotics, processes. They make sure they have this strong system, technological system, zero defect, frequent inspections in process, and so on. So they try to actually limit the defect. And this is very important. And this was actually their strategy to actually break the record in the market of vehicles, of motors. Okay, so let's go to 7 West, the next page of Toyota. 7 West to be avoided. These are the strategy that Toyota used as something to be avoided. Waste of time on hand, waiting time because raw materials, stocks are waiting. So all the reasons that can waste our time. And this is actually, the better we plan and schedule, the better we actually use our timing in business. Waste in transportation. Waste in transportation is also very relevant in business, because transport is moving materials from one position to the other. The transport itself adds no value to the product. So minimizing this cost is essential. For example, in logistics and procurement, whereby you find we have to import something from overseas, there are some products that we might import and you find they don't reach us on time. In that case, this might increase the cost, because depending on the nature of the product themselves, they might maybe needed to be stored along the way in warehouses. For example, from China to Mombasa port, from Mombasa port, if there is something which actually causes the traffic to be long, depending on the nature, they might store them somewhere in Nairobi, somewhere in Mombasa. So avoiding these, people in logistics need to make sure transport is not actually a threat to the business. Also, for example, some products which are seasonal. For example, there are some products which are related to some events like Christmas. On Christmas and New Year, people buy new clothes, people do whatever. So now when transportation becomes a challenge, this can actually lead to the delay of what? The delay of our products, our commodities. And when they come, they reach us out of season, this means our business might go bankrupt. We might lose something significant, because time and business, there are things that go hand in hand. Waste in overproduction. Now, it is good to have the estimation during production, not to produce something which is actually beyond the market we have. We need to make sure we estimate so that we avoid the waste of overproduction. Waste in stocks on hand. It is very good to sell in business. And that's one of the principles of Chinese. To actually sell at a low margin, but also to make sure they sell. Waste in processing, efficient use of technology. So the more the business has a stronger technology, the more production and processing and whatever they are doing, it's leading to success. So we need to make sure as the technology moves on, we also have to adopt those new technologies that can actually back our businesses up. Waste in movement. This means detailed work study, whereby you find nothing is actually moving. So it's like we stay in the same things, doing the same things for a very long time, which is actually not good. So waste also in making defective product, state of mind. This is very important because tech is all about product deviation.